Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, Rockin', Malcolm, and Muhammad, all in one place. We doing our thing. Three greats. Yeah, I'm being there one day, so that's my Mount Rushmore. All right, right is it. Let's go. Right thinkers. Right is the 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. So let's work together and make it happen. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and to my yacht, be true. Today, right thinkers, we're going into lesson number 6. And this is going to start the chain going up the tree of life. Starting with right thinker, let's talk about lesson number 6. It's a long title, but I break it down for you. The principle of Heru, the child, and how to start to practice the theurgy of the tree of life as a beginning aspirant. You're starting from the bottom. When you hear the word Heru, that's you. Okay? Heru are you. His you, excuse me. So let's go. Let me break it down for you. Hopefully you get a good understanding. I'm going to take you from Heru, the child, to Heru Beherdet, to the warrior, to Heru which is the master of self while in the flesh. That's what I got for you today. Let's go. Hope you don't take that long. I'm going to go through it pretty quick. So hold on and get ready. The name of the god, Heru, that's you, is it means that which is on high. You see me pointing up. He's the falcon. He flies higher than anything in the sky. So that's why your spirit, that's what your spirit is represented by, the falcon. Okay, the baddest thing in the land. But you notice that the phonetic trilateral consonant, which is how they show you the hieroglyphics, then they break it down. So I'm going to go through that and go right to her is part of his name. Her, Her. Her means person or personality, meaning your personality, your character, your individual, how you are and what you're really about. This is what you're going to learn about yourself, hence knowing thyself. And her means person or personality or entity. Excuse me. Yeah, entity. All people, again, all people are her. Why? We all have personalities, aka the ego thing. But Heru is the highest personality, the personality of all personalities, the highest, aka Nihas. Y'all call him Christ. We already know him as Heru. Trust me, it's all the same thing symbolically. So don't get caught up in a bunch of names semantics. Understand the process and you'll be fine. Okay? Now, we're going to show you figure 25. Heru per ha per kahar. Excuse me. Heru pa kahar. There it is right here. Now you see how he look right there? He's a kid. He's a baby. But you see he got his gear on. He got his crown for representing Upper and Lower Egypt. So he already have mastery of both sides, upper and lower. Okay? He come out with knowledge of self. So watch this. You're going to perfect you by becoming Heru. Okay? As an ordinary worldly human being your soul, which is from Asar, eternity. What's in us is eternal. That's Asar, immortality. His mate with Nesbet, which represents what? Worldly desires or mortality. Remember, that represents mortality. You're going to born, if you're born, you will die. She represents that in that aspect. Now, when she meets with, hook up with Asar, they offspring is what? In a sense, you have taken on the role of, you have taken on the role of Set. That's the ego self. That's the divinity who represents egoism. Again, the first thing you identify with yourself, that's the ego. He comes into play because you bring him into effect from your consciousness. He becomes your identity, who you are. And that's okay. This is why you have to what? Get over him. He's a good ally, but he ain't a good leader. Understand that? So let's go. Let me show you why. You have developed what? Throughout many lifetimes, again, our souls have been through carnation after carnation. We just happen to be the one that's waking up so we can stop the carnation. That's the goal for human beings. Come here, experience, stop reincarnating by what? Gaining knowledge of self, to know thyself and go home. Now, and through many times, such as a way that you have what? More awareness of what? Yourself within the context of mortality. We are spiritual beings. We just don't know that. We have to be taught. We have to learn that. So we have teachers. We have things laid out, rules to follow, principles laid out for us to follow to make that possible. Y'all call it religion, okay? But we are caught up in the context of mortality and worldly desires, and not so much as immortal and infinite beings. We are spiritual beings, but we believe we are what? Human beings. And we are to a degree. Sorry. Now the spiritual journey begins. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. You're going to take a spiritual journey. You're going to go through life. You're going to have to what? Pick your character and be better to what? Master oneself by mastering your guiding goddess character aspects of what? Your personality, Heru. So when due to what? Certain attainment of virtue, which you have attained, your personality, what happened? Becomes purified when you're performing a selfish service. When you're living a righteous and virtuous life, you're serving your higher self. And guess what? You're purifying your heart to be what? Certain extent where you start to question what? The world, and more importantly, your self concepts with serious inquiries such as, who am I? Why am I here? Why is there so much sorrow in the world? Why does the world seem so futile? What is life all about? And these are all questions that you should ask yourself, and you should get an answer. Why? Somebody has the answer. They call us teachers, sages, gurus, master teachers, whatever. We have the answers. What are these divinities? I'm seriously interested in that. That's knowing thyself. Are you seriously about knowing yourself? Come on, I got you. Now, I want to know more about what? My life, etc. And that's Heru, what? Being born. And he's inquiring about the nature of life and aspiring to what? Discover its secrets and to what? Master its powers. Check right there. The goal for all humans are to become master of self while in the flesh, live a fruitful life, do whatever you choose to do, serve your higher self, do the right thing, and when this life is over and it's going to run out, again, that's nature. If you're born, you're going to die. But that's fine. Why? Because you have to die to what? Be reborn in what? The afterlife. It's a phase that they understood. We think dying is the end, all be all. Oh, and they tell you, well, if you do right, you be good, you go to heaven. If not, you go to hell and burn forever. No such concept. But if you believe that, knock yourself out. Okay, so let's talk about self-powering of oneself, mastering of self. That's the ticket for all Heru, which is us in the flesh. Incarnated, resurrected from our father, which is Asar, mixed with wisdom, which is Aset, we became aspirants. We want to know who we are. So when you start asking those questions about life, but not just in a superficial way, as most people do at some point in life, they just, yeah, well, why am I here? What are we doing? And just keep on going, not really serious. But watch this. In a serious way now, right, thinkers? Now you will do whatever is required of you to pursue what? And find the answers to those questions that you seek. Knowing yourself, why you're here, what's the secrets of life? Those are questions that you should go and search for yourself. I did over 30 years ago. I called it, I'm searching for the truth. Why? I felt like I wasn't being given the truth. So I went in search of it for myself. I found it. Now I'm giving it to you. And watch this. Answer to your questions. Also, you are able to now recognize what people you are, people you who are wise, who you're around who are wise, and who can what lead you to others who are even more what knowledgeable. Idea surround yourself with somebody who's smarter than you. The phrase if you in the room, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Simple as that. So you always want to be around somebody who more knowledgeable than you. That way you can learn. So you are led eventually to who? Aset. That's the lady of wisdom, intuition, intuitive knowledge from within. And then you have Aset will introduce you to her husband, which is your father. Luke, I am your father. Assad told Heru, I am your father. Her counterpart, who is what? In this context, he really represents what? The resurrected soul. The soul that has what? Regained its immortal awareness. It knows itself now in the flesh. Hello? And then what? You begin to realize in small and not completely intelligible ways that what? Hey, there is some soul. If you got soul, like James Brown say, I know you wouldn't be on earth. Wow, you'd be dead. With no soul, you can't live. So soul, there's some eternity here. There is something there, what? Beyond death. Again, if you're ignorant, you think death is it. So we knew that it was something beyond death and the mayhem and destruction and the unhappiness that there is what in this world. A bunch of ignorant people doing a bunch of ignorant stuff. It looks crazy. But I said, who also represents what? Dispassion. Take your emotions out the situation and you got to practice detachment. Take yourself out the scenario. Don't get involved personally. Don't put your emotion feelings in a situation. It's hard to do what you need to do, which is think and function with clarity. When you got emotions, you are blinded by what? Emotions. They should not be a part of your decision making. And what happens? And this is when Aset and Asar are able to come together for what? When the soul turns away from the worldliness things, then you got Set and Nefset. Those are two on the first ring. You have to achieve what over them? Watch this. Set and Nefset and turns into Aset. You see on the chain here, I'm gonna show you in a minute, the diagonal lines that are emanating from them. They come together and they produce Heru Picard. That's us. When Asar and Aset get together, we are the offspring. Heru the child. You're the prince. And Heru the child is you. You're a newborn aspirant in the spiritual trail, in the spiritual action for what? Self-discovery and hopefully self-mastery. And to become what? A true seeker of what? Spiritual enlightenment. We're on a spiritual trail to what? Become enlightened, so to know thyself. We wasn't born with that knowledge, so we have to acquire it. As Aset and Asar protected, watch this, protected and guided you, okay? You too are now to be guided by them until what? You are ready, what? To control the forces of nature. See image below, right here. This is what they're showing you, okay? It's a picture of Heru Picard controlling animals, aka your lower self. You're on the beastly nature. The whole purpose of the Sphinx to show you the beastly nature of man, and he had to raise his consciousness. Why? Because that's what God gave us to think, to comprehend. You see Tahuti over there at the left. You see Ra on the right hand side. You see Set over there. That's Hathor on the right hand corner with the sun just on the cow head. But these are all the deities that help you become your best self. Okay. You have to learn them, become them, understand them, and that's how you become master of self while in the flesh, in the real world. And you got later as the control of nature, animal, your beastly desires, and your passions of your personality, your ego self, and an advancement in what the philosophy that you're practicing of Aset. When it's achieved, what happened? Heru will grow up in aspiration and becomes what? Mature. And an aspirant is ready to what? Do battle with who? You ready? His father's killer, his uncle, Set. Ego. But the ego is inside him. Again, just like God. He ain't out there. I'm going to show you a picture with Set and Heru share the same body. But that's not coming down the road. But we're going to tell you how he deal with Set. He got to be ready to deal with his uncle Set. They fought for the throne of Egypt for over 80 years. Long story, but another lesson. But in the form of Heru B. Hadet, which is what? The challenger for the throne of Kemet to become the ruler of the world, aka lower and higher forces, and become Heru That's Heru the Great. But you have to do some things to make that happen. I just showed you the picture of Heru Picard. Now, this is how it's set up. You see here? You see the lines? The first four are there. You're going to see a line from where? 1 to 7, I think it is. Where is it at? See the numbers over here? Okay. I'm going to break these down for you as you go. You see here, Asar and Nephet. Okay. They're going to be come together to make Anubis. So I'm going to break that down for you right quick. That's where we at. Okay. I got a few more minutes. Let me get this out of the way. And it says the origins of Heru and Anpu. They're brothers. Okay. Anpu is the big brother. He also takes care, he's the embalmer. He takes care of his dad. When he gets killed and cut into pieces, he embalms him, put him back together, and looks over and turn over the reins of the afterlife to his father. Before Osiris came into the afterlife, Anubis was king. Another lesson, but this we talk about. Anpu is the tree of life on the path to start the journey of spiritual enlightenment. Heru and Anpu, that's you. Heru is your higher self. Anpu is your discernment. Okay, you need to have that. Okay, to learn or understand what right from wrong. So it breaks down. I showed you the tree. Rise at the top. You got Shu, Tough Newt, Gad, Newt, Asar, Aset, Set, and Neptat. And at the bottom you have Heru. It says Master of the Earth, meaning you conquered your ego uncle self. Okay, you mastered yourself, and now you are in control. You can sit on the throne, knowing thyself, and you go back to what your father sit at the right hand of the Father. Sound familiar? All right, let's start with A. In A, it says here, we're gonna go down the list. A is Asar, number 6, getting with not that, number 9, and that equals Anpu. Okay, discernment. Then you got number 6 going with number 7, that's Asar, number 6, Aset, number 7, giving birth to who? Heru, me and you, Picard. C shows, I just showed the picture with Heru through the throne, through the virtue of Maya, and the philosophical instructions from Aset. Heru Picard becomes what? Controller of nature himself, nature forces, his lower self. So his lower self don't control him. So Set don't have no say-so no matter why. He's the lower nature. Set and get behind me. Set should be the appendage behind you. Why? He got your back. Let's go. Now we got A, B, C, D, D. Now through the virtue over the lower forces and through the schooling of Aset, Heru Picard becomes Heru Behudet. He's the warrior. You see him right here where he got the mace in his hand and the arrow in the bow. He's doing work. They say when Christ come back, he's going to be the avenger. This is the avenger right here. Okay? He fight for what's right, justice in the American way. Sound familiar? Everything that's right and good. Superman. That's who he was. And you see him standing on the pedestal of Maya. And the last one here, you see E. Now through through victory over his uncle Set and successful journey through the tree of life, Heru Behudet becomes now Heru That's you standing on top, what? Knowing thyself. You conquered your lower self. Now you're in position to what? Be your best self. And on this page here, I'm going to take you through it right quick. That's the chakras. And you see 6 of them is inside the body. The 7th on the crown, that's on top of your head, is outside the body, so to speak. Okay? So the 6th is the opening of the third eye. And on here, I'm going to show you a nice little picture. The other page, this is what we're going to go through and walk you through that right quick. The spear. You see that? That's the judgment day. You see the baboon with the crescent moon? That's Tahuti in baboon form. And you see what he's doing? Making sure the scales are right. Anubis ain't in this picture, but you see Amet. That's Aset. You see that? That's that's Mayate, the twins, making sure the scales are just. That's Mayat. Then you got Amet. You see he biting from the third one down. If you don't raise past your beastly nature, number 3, you will not pass the judgment day, or your heart will be heavy as the feather, and you will be eaten by Amet. That's his job. That's what he do. He eat the unrighteous. And if your heart is heavier than the feather, you're unrighteous. That's the concept. Let's go through it right quick. Heru Picard. Heru is the son, the divine solar child, they called him. His 7 aspects, okay, which are what? Reflections of Ra's 7 souls. 7 heavens, 7 hell, Sufik by Ra. That means the 7 souls are associated with the 7 spheres in the body of consciousness that are what? That's what's weighed at Judgment Day of Mayat. The image of the ancient Egyptian papyrus, the Kina, seen below, it illustrates the 7 spheres that represents the lower nature, the bottom 3 spheres, and thus that represents higher consciousness, the 4 upper ones, aka the red house for Masons. The blue house is the first 3, red house is the upper 4. These spheres are related to the ancient Egypt concept of Arat Sekem, or we know it more as serpent power. Thanks to the Asians, they took it and named it Kundalini or chakras, but they're all the same thing. Now, when these spheres are superimposed on the nexus, you have points of the tree of life, and their dynamic forces are graphically illustrated as references to the energy forms, aka God and goddesses, and also the elements that awaken the varied levels of higher consciousness. And the image below depicts how the spheres of energy centers relate to the nerve plexus and glands. These are all the internal organs inside the body. When they're all working together synonymously and you're living right, the Kundalini serpent will rise. That's the fire that makes it go. And these centers must be open. How? Like I just told you, by purifying in order to allow the free flow of the life force power, in order to be successful in the struggle to understand this philosophy, aka right thinking or mayat of the path, and have the stamina to what? Endure the trials of the path, specifically what? Controlling that ego and the forces of nature, your lower half. That thing between your legs, if it's running you, you're going to constantly have fetters. What? Problems. Women problems. Baby mama drama. See where we're going with that? I got one more page for you. More little bit of information. I can wrap it up. So we're going to deal with now. I'm going to show you the below. You got the left center section of the tree of life, which is the obelisk with the 7 souls or Ra, the 7 aspects of Heru, the divine child. That's you, the spirit that's in you. And below the right-hand side shows you, I did that scales of Maya, show you the judgment day. Let's walk through the spears right quick. The spears, number 1, beginning from the bottom, we're going to work our way up. At the bottom, you see that? That's Heru That's you, opposite Ra. But the beginning, this you start out, you already had master yourself. You just had to what? Be guided, be led, and taught. That's the whole purpose of human beings, being taught by who? Our parents, mother and father. I said, he taught me one thing, my mom's taught me the other. Perfect example. It's the story of life. How about that? Moving on. It's real simple, but it's very, very intricate and on point. Watch. The first spear, beginning from the bottom, moving upward, it includes the god Heru, informs what? Heru as a child, Heru Kute, and Heru as well as now you're going to learn about Nephet and Set, nature, mortality, nature, and egoism. Those are the first two things you got to master on your scale of going up. In sphere 2, it includes now, once you master them, you move on to a Set and a Asar. That's you knowing your parents and becoming what? Wise with knowledge. Sphere 3 includes the nexus which between Net and Geb that brought who? Asar, Aset, Set, Netet, and who Earth into being. Those are the parents, the elements that represent the parents of the humans. God and goddess is 5 in number, 5 elements, 10 altogether. So when you're dealing with the sphere number 4, that includes the principle of what? Geb and Nut, which is represented by earth and heaven. Remember, earth and heaven was in the love embrace. What separates them? Air, Shu. He's pushing Nut up to heaven, standing on Geb, he's earth. That's the concept. Now, you have earth and heaven, sphere number 5. That includes what? Now the nexus is between Shu and Tough Nut that gave birth to who? Geb and Nut. Into what? Being. They brought them into being. They're the parents of earth and heaven, represented by air and moisture. Now, sphere number 6 includes the principle of who? Shu and Tough Nut, which represents air or ether, and moisture, water, life force, female aspect. The sphere number 7, top of the line, that includes the god Ra, and here Ra is androgynous. That means he's male and female. Just like in the beginning, he's male so he can impregnate himself. He's female so he can be impregnated. So he created himself out of himself. Male and female he did. Sound familiar? Ra is androgynous, and he contains male and female elements within himself. And until he engenders what? The first dualities. He's singular. Dualities when he brought Maya into existence, and that was Shu and Tough Nut, respectively. That's what this is right there. Duality started with Shu and Tough Nut. Boy, I like this. Let me wrap it up for you right there. Now, in the Per Im Heru text, Ancient Egypt, the ancient Egyptian book of enlightenment, the state of spiritual enlightenment is described in chapter 83, where what? Where you, the initiate, realizes the 7 ujas, the 7 Uraeus, the 7 serpents, the deities or the bodies immortal parts of the spirit have been what? Reconstructed or rediscovered, and the 7 Uraeuses are the body, the image of the new what? Eternal. When you reach that level, this is it again. They show you. If you open up all 7 chakras, you get to the top. You reach home. If you are 3 down, you didn't make it. 4, 5, and 6, you're in the ballpark. Now they have to pass judgment. Now they're going to start getting intricate. Did you do this? Did you do that? But that's the end of the lesson for right now. I got some more, but I see the clock is running out. I hope the lesson was cool. I got more for you. Don't worry about it. I'll break it down for you. We're still working on Heru. That's you. And right thinkers, in closing, may you all live to be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you have passed away. I'll be right back.